listening to the Moist Boys Podcast.
Tony Chiba, everybody.
I was going to do it.
Folks, it's another week. You know what? Fuck it. This is the main episode for this week. It's quarantine.
It's still quarantine.
Folks,
Forever and ever will be in quarantine.
folks, just
Do you
Google.
think our grandchildren will get to go to concerts?
No.
No.
Do you think we'll have grandchildren? Do you think Bennett's just going to have to live with us forever
He's
because
just
he's
gonna
in
be-
quarantine?
Yeah.
All concerts will be on Fortnite in the future.
No. Oh, God. No.
Who did the most recent one? It was... Because it was Marshmello did one, and then somebody else did one more recently.
On Fortnite?
Yeah.
Oh, no. I
like
thought
a-
that was a joke.
Like an actual band did. I can't remember who it was, though.
God.
Folks, Google it. Also, Google my plans, and then 2020,
Oh, it's so good.
What?
So good. Just Twitter is ablaze with my plans.
and it's
So
like...
it's the thing that I showed you of Atreyu writing Falcor, my plans.
Yeah.
2020 is him trying to pull his horse out of the mud.
The first one I saw was my plans. It was a picture of Richard Petty, and then 2020 it was a picture of a brick wall.
Oh, shit.
Speaking of brick walls, folks, we're here to talk about
A brick wall.
a brick wall of brains called Ranker, where the internet's dumbest children go to list things and put things in numbered lists. Folks, if you want a list where all of the best movies came out in the last 10 years and or were the highest grossing films of all time, and that means they're the quote-unquote best, this is the website you want to go to if you think Guardians of the Galaxy is the 13th best sci-fi movie of all time. All time.
All
Of
time.
all movies.
If you think WALL-E is the 31st best sci-fi movie of all time.
Then head on over to Ranker, where the internet's brightest minds are congregating, and that's what we're talking about today.
So this list is a little different. It's not just a list that was voted on. It's actually, they wrote an article.
Oh no!
Yeah. So this is somebody's actual opinion.
Like someone
the
actually
voting
put-
happened after.
Someone actually put thoughts into this.
Yep.
It was
Oh, no.
Diplo, by the way.
That was Diplo.
Yeah, Fortnite hosted a Diplo concert in its new party mode.
Yikes!
Yikes. Also, I found the best My Plans 2020. And I just sent it to you. Because it's from The Good Place and it makes me happy.
Yep.
It says, it's first, My Plans, everything is fine. 2020. This is the bad place.
Yep.
It is. All right, speaking of bad places, we're going to
Ranker.
to Ranker to talk about classic movies that have trash endings. Is why I clicked on this, because that's what the headline said. The headline changes when you click on it. I hate things that do that.
Oh, that is Ranker in a nutshell.
I hate that. I hate
What's-
when it's like movies that have trash endings, and then you click on it. It said classic movies endings people only accepted because they're classics. That is a much different list than I would have clicked on. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even think it said
that
classics
is-
movie. I think it just said movies with trash endings, and I was like, oh, I like movies. I like trash endings. What do you got?
That is, by definition, a clickbait.
Clickbait.
And we're falling for it, folks.
And I did. I fell for it. So this article
You-
was written in 2019, back when the good times were happening.
Back-
One weird trick that'll get you number one on all of Rankers. It's always a weird trick.
Yeah.
And we're playing that. We're turning those weird tricks.
Yep. Turning them. So the first movie we're going to talk about. So I'm going to tell you guys the movie. And I'm going to tell you what they didn't love about the ending.
And we'll tell you why they're wrong.
And then I think we're gonna bash on these peeps a little bit. So the first one is Grease.
Yeah.
The flying car makes no sense.
Holy fucking shit.
I've already said it, but if that's your takeaway from the end of that movie, folks, you done woke up like 5 minutes too late.
You're done wrong,
You
folks.
fell asleep during the middle of
The worst part is
song.
that like they're even like Sandy reveals an edgier side. Danny shows up that shows that he can clean himself up. That's how they phrase that. Not They change everything about themselves to make
For
the other
person.
No,
And then one
Sandy
of them
reveals
decides,
an
"You know what?
edgier side,
I'm gonna
and
be me.
Danny shows that he can clean himself up.
And
And then-
immediately doesn't.
He's like, fuck this book's shit.
And then the entire casting, we go together, and the car flies off. And their argument why it doesn't hold up is because musicals are inherently unrealistic in real life.
And-
Okay.
And
Yeah,
I would
I-
like to hand you the biggest Dodoy award I possibly can.
Yeah. I want to know who this person is and who didn't hug them enough when they were growing up.
Yeah, so their biggest issue is with the flying car.
Folks, if you watch a movie where a woman changes to be with a man and the man says he's going to change but doesn't, and your thing is, that car that flew away on the end is really problematic.
Also, if you watch a movie where a dude tries to sexually assault that woman 2 times and then she ends up with him,
And your takeaway
That
is
flying car is bullshit.
musicals are just so unrealistic.
then I have problems with you.
You are the problem.
You are the problem. Number 2, Titanic. Mm-hmm. Jack didn't have to perish.
This is
Not Jack didn't have to die. Jack didn't have to perish.
This
Ooh,
is
using their
the
college words.
Such overhashed bullshit of all time. Everyone knows why this is bullshit.
So
He had to
first,
die.
Jonathan said it when we talked about this originally, and he says it every time of, it's not like they didn't fucking try.
They literally spend so much time trying to get him also on the door. And everybody, okay, so the thing, like, everybody's like, look at how big the door was. She could have laid this way. She would have laid this way. It's a door. It is literally not meant to float because it's a fucking door. So when he tries to get on it, him weighing more than she does makes it flip and sink. It would not have happened. They would both be dead.
Yep.
Stop trying to make Jack Lives happen.
Yep.
That's all I have to say about that. Everybody already knows why it's bullshit.
Yeah.
Yep. Also, just be a good poor and die for me.
Just, yeah. Die like a poor for me.
Oh God, yeah. She this person writes some bad shit, by the way, about this. There's also something off-putting about Rose tossing the diamond. We're told it once belongs to Louis the 14th and has the value of $1 million. Why would anyone casually throw away something with that much historical and financial value?
Because she doesn't fucking care.
Because it's bad juju.
Because it's already been lost to nobody knows it exists
Yeah.
except for Bill Paxton.
Who's been searching for it and will never find it.
Yeah. Gosh.
I mean, sad for Bill Paxton, but he's also going to go and bone Rose's granddaughter, so who gives a shit?
Also,
Wait,
I'm pretty
what?
sure he just wanted to find the Titanic.
No, he was looking for the necklace.
The heart
Because
of the
they
sea.
they specifically find the safe that it is supposed to be in.
Oh, that's right. That's
Yeah.
right. That's right.
And then she tells a story about how I was hanging on them titties.
Ooh. Number 3, Superman.
Okay.
Okay, I'm bracing for it.
Flying around the world really fast doesn't rewind time. Jonathan just flung his mic from himself.
It's not what he does. First of all, that movie is stupid as fuck. I know people love the original Superman.
Oh, they're
Lo-
not good.
Lois
not good movies.
perishes again.
Perishes again.
Perishes.
In a car when her car slips into a crevasse. Oh, breaking out the big words.
But it doesn't, though.
It's like a landslide, isn't it?
filled with debris following an earthquake.
Oh, it's an earthquake.
And then
okay.
it opens up underneath her. She doesn't drive into it.
Right.
It says her car slips into it.
But that,
Yeah.
implies
Unable to
something
save her,
different.
Superman flies around the world really fast a bunch of times.
Like the speed of, faster than the speed of light, maybe?
Suddenly, the rock slide is undone. The broken Hoover Dam repairs itself, and Lois is alive again.
Also,
mean,
the Hoover
the,
Dam still blows up and kills that town full of people that he originally saved in the original timeline. So I'm just putting that out there that he sacrifices thousands of
town
people
for that
to find some
poos.
poon.
Gross.
Poon is lame.
Gross. I mean, like, the actual visual of him flying around the Earth and then the Earth rotating in the other direction Nobody thought that through.
Nah.
Because what would happen when, in the moment the Earth stops and then starts rotating the other direction, is that everybody literally flies off the surface of the planet.
Yep.
But but he wasn't
We're all
making it
roasted
spin
alive,
backwards, though.
too,
He was
by the
going back in time.
By making the Earth spin backwards.
No, by flying faster. We're seeing it from his perspective where time is going backwards.
Yeah, the visual they chose is
It's
him
bad.
making the Earth spin backwards to reset time.
The smartest way to do it
would be the way the Flash does it, where he just runs really fast and then just like breaks through the wall of time and then shows up in another time.
I mean, if you're going to fly faster than the speed of light, the easiest way is to fly in a straight line and then turn around and fly back.
Yeah. So,
And then
by the
be
way,
fine.
this person's defense thing is that flying around the world and altering time defies every law of physics, too. Best case, Superman
No,
would change
there's
the Earth's
literally-
rotation, but in no way would cause time to reverse.
They literally created an entire dimension around time. It's called the fourth dimension, and it doesn't follow the laws that we do because it's a completely...
They also think that this was cheating, by the way. This ending was cheating.
I mean, he's literally impervious to everything, has no personality,
Yep.
and is
This
in a bad
person-
movie.
This person has never watched movies before?
Apparently not. But the next one I like. So here's a weird one.
Okay.
So suddenly they make sense on one.
Curveball.
They actually pegged the right thing. Saturday Night Fever.
Never seen it.
It suggests assaulting a woman is no big deal. That is the actual issue. Congratulations, they found the point.
They didn't bother finding that in Greece because it wasn't at the end of the movie, but
But
Anything that happens in the middle of the movie is perfectly fine.
perfectly fine.
well, but that's the thing is that the assault happens in the middle of the movie.
This person's just a fucking idiot then.
So, because the ending is getting dumped and then seeing one of his best friends lose their life in a freak accident. He goes back to Stephanie's apartment to apologize for being a jerk. Him being a jerk, by the way, was when he attempts to force himself upon her.
Yikes.
Cool movie.
Yeah. She agrees to be friends with him. The movie ends on a freeze frame of Stephanie holding him in her arms as the Bee Gees' "How Deep Is Your Love" plays on the soundtrack.
Don't you forget about me. Oh,
Yeah.
sorry, wrong movie.
Wrong movie.
Wrong freeze frame.
Wrong freeze frame.
Man, is there anything worse than ending on a freeze frame?
Ending a
No.
podcast on a freeze frame.
Ending a podcast on a long... Anyway.
Yeah. So she just lets him off the hook, and the film implies that these behaviors are no big deal.
Yikes.
Also, brief tangent. That's a good song. I'll defend that song. I like that song.
I do too.
How deep is your love?
No,
No, when
the
you were
other
singing.
one. I can't...
No, that is a good song. I like that song.
Okay, number 5.
Number 5.
A movie I haven't seen, so I don't know. Fatal Attraction.
Go on.
It uses the psycho's last grab cliche.
Continue.
Go on.
Alex comes at Beth with a knife in the bathroom. Dan rushes in and shoves Alex into the bathtub full of water where she seemingly perishes. As he sits on the edge and catches his breath, she springs back up with a scream and goes after him with a knife. Beth then fires at her and stops her for good.
Here's the problem.
Okay.
That movie came out in the 80s.
This is why these are endings that don't hold up, guys.
Also, that became a cliche in the 90s.
So, as one of the first movies to ever do it, it doesn't hold up because I have now watched too many movies.
For starters, it employs an age-old psycho's last grab cliche in which the villain appears to be finished, only to come back for one last gotcha moment.
I dare this person to name
This
older
device-
movies that use
This
that
device
ending.
was common in the 80s horror fare, like Friday the 13th movie.
When did I dare this person to tell me what year Fatal Attraction came out? I fucking dare them to tell me what year that movie came out in.
Using
Jesus
it
Christ.
otherwise sophisticated drama was a cheap trick.
It's a thriller, first of all. Second of all, I will not be ignored, Dan.
At At the time, audiences got caught up in the excitement and the drama. Time and repeated viewings exposed the finale's weaknesses, though. So that was one of them. The disappointment factor was laid even barer when the original ending was made available on the bonus feature DVD. In it, Alex offs herself using a knife that has Dan's fingerprints on it, thereby framing him. This finale is far more in line with the story's overall tone.
Excuse me.
Number 6.
2001, A Space Odyssey.
Holy shit.
No one really knows what it means.
Wow. I really hated how ambiguous the ambiguous ending of this movie was. It really dragged me down, man.
This movie about a spaceship docking with a space station for 37 minutes and then nothing happens for 2 hours, and then the ending. That ending really bugs me. Let's
At the end of his life, elderly astronaut Dave looks up from his bed and then sees a black monolith in his room.
But does he, though?
Then there's a fetus in the orb on the bed where he was previously resting. The fetus is seemingly sucked into the monolith and then set to float in space where it gazes at the Earth.
And?
That's the end of the movie, apparently.
Yeah.
This
is one of those endings that everyone thinks they understand, but no one does for sure.
Art isn't good if there's multiple interpretations.
Ask 10 different people what it means, and you're likely to get 15 different answers. Oh, it says 10 different answers.
Okay. I was like, oh my God, are they even bad at math?
Fans have spent 50 years debating the meaning of this finale. Compared to the rest of 2001, the ending is rather slow. Instead of, I'm sorry, nope, I have never seen 2001 A Space Odyssey, and I don't intend to, but I know that the first half of the film is a nature documentary.
Pretty much.
I've seen 7 minutes of this movie, and it is literally watching a spaceship dock with a space station in real time.
Instead of a big bang, it concludes with a drawn-out question mark.
Do you know who Stanley Kubrick is?
Did they watch the rest of them? Were they like flipping through Showtime, watched Armageddon, and at the end, or like switched over to? I was like, word explosions. I want more explosions.
Oh, by the way, they
Holy
did
shit.
put When Fatal Attraction came out. It came out in 1987.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
Fancy that.
Okay. All right, we're going on.
What a shock.
Number 7. The Birds.
Oh my God.
The birds just stop.
Yes. Yes, they do. Holy shit.
This. Go on.
Alfred Hitchcock's Thriller was originally supposed to have an ambiguous and lengthy ending. I'm sorry, now you want an ambiguous ending?
Jesus Christ.
And lengthy ending in which the birds swarm the car as the group tries to escape. Time and financial considerations made it that impossible, though, so Hitchcock went with a well-known ending. Although there's something ominous about watching them loom and stare, it's downright weird that the birds abruptly stop. The whole movie sees them go after the humans, and then they just give up for no reason.
No.
They didn't give up.
It's a
They
letdown.
won.
Yeah, that is literally the point. They have reached the point of dominance. They don't have to kill anymore because they are now the apex creatures on the planet.
Also, Birds 2, best sequel ever made.
Yeah, but apparently it's a letdown because the birds just stop moving and they don't kill everybody.
I'm going to slap this person.
Oh my, I hate them so much.
How is the birds killing everybody more ambiguous than not knowing what's in their heads as they're watching you drive away?
No.
They said they want a more ambiguous ending of everybody dying. That's...
No, they just wanted a more... Because they wanted the group to... The birds swarming the car as the group tries to escape, and that be the ending. Just the birds fully around the car, and you don't know what happens.
The problem is, this person wanted it at all.
All right, number 8.
Literally wanted everybody to die, but also
Not
have
to
it
know
end
if they'd-
super ambiguous.
Yeah. Number 8.
How many are there on this?
I don't remember. I think it's 15.
Okay.
God help us.
Star Wars.
Hold on.
Episode 6.
What?
Excuse me.
Return of the Jedi. The Ewok dance party is annoying. I'm done. I'm sorry. I didn't read this before. I gotta go.
Holy
What the
shit.
hell? Ooh.
The indigenous people celebrating not being oppressed anymore is super annoying.
After victory is achieved, I gotta read this in
Yep,
Karen
do
voice.
it.
I'm sorry.
Do it.
It goes in Karen voice. After the victory was achieved, the Ewoks celebrated by dancing and singing their infamous You Noob song.
It's Yub Nub, you plebeian bitch.
I was reading it as Karen.
No, I'm speaking to Karen.
Okay. The spirits of Obi-Wan Kenobi, Anakin Skywalker, and Yoda arrive to watch the proceedings.
Yes.
And
Why it doesn't hold up.
here we go. Folks, buckle up. It's going to get rough. We're hitting turbulence.
It's a testament to how much people love Star Wars franchise that they were generally willing to tolerate the goofy conclusion to the original trio of films.
The one where Darth Vader's body is burning. That's pretty goofy.
Pretty fucking ceremonial fucking funeral.
Where
Super
his
goofy.
where his Force Ghost suddenly appears. Oh, okay.
Jeez.
That's goofy. That goofy Anakin
That's so silly.
Skywalker.
The body burns.
The Ewoks are diverse already. They look like cute little teddy bears, but are supposed to be fierce warriors. I'm sorry, the word
Okay.
supposed is in there. They're supposed to be fierce warriors. That's a stretch.
And yet they defeated the Empire.
They also feel like they basically were a marketing gimmick to sell toys.
Have they listened to George Lucas talk at any point in the last 50 years?
No, apparently not.
Because
Can you do a George voice for my Karen, please?
I'm not in the headspace to try to George Lucas right now. I'm too many champagne beers.
We gotta get these little teddy bears in the movie because the kids will just eat that shit up all day long, and they're gonna beg their fucking little stupid parents to
Except for
buy 'em all
he
this shit.
really hates the fact that they make toys out of his stuff, right?
No, he was all about the toys.
Oh, yeah.
To be fair, George Lucas wanted those to be Wookiees, but it literally would have cost twice as much to make them Wookiees as opposed to Ewoks.
I wonder why.
Oh, dear.
even if you can stomach them,
Okay.
the Yub Nub song and dance party is far too cutesy way to cap off the greatest science fiction series of all time. No one wants to see C-3PO getting down with a glorified stuffed animal.
But he's not.
Worse still, in the re-releases of The Return of the Jedi, George Lucas digitally replaced Sebastian Shaw with Hayden Christensen, the actor who played Anakin in the prequels. This enraged purist fans.
This guy. So I
Correct. Okay, I'm sorry. That little tiny bit. You get that.
You get that one bit.
sentence. Good
you get
job.
that sentence. That being said, Yub Nub is trash. And the
Yub
piece
Nub
of
is
music, the piece of music that they replaced it with in the special editions, fantastic piece of music.
Correct.
And then ruined it by adding Hayden Christensen later.
Correct.
I've already talked at such a great fucking length about my feelings about
Folks,
this.
go back in time about 6 months. Listen to all 11 episodes
11 episodes
of our Star Wars. 20 plus hours, 11 episodes. Folks, it was a long and arduous trip.
Hear us slowly and ever so quickly at the same time. Go
Lose
mad.
our fucking minds.
Yeah.
Almost destroyed the podcast, to be quite honest.
Almost destroyed some
Almost.
friendships,
It's a good thing.
some marriages.
Yeah.
It's a good thing that quarantine didn't happen.
Oh my
Right
God,
after
could
that,
you imagine?
That would have been a nightmare.
It is fitting that heralded the coming of 2020.
Number 9.
Oh God.
The Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Continue.
I haven't seen it, but let's hear him out.
The nihilist ending is out of place.
Did they watch the rest of the movie?
Okay, continue.
The ending, Frank is slain, and a distraught Rocky carries his lifeless body up a tower only to plunge to his own end in a pool. The castle lifts off into outer space, leaving Brad and Janet to writhe around in the dust. The movie's narrator returns to suggest that humanity is lost in time, lost in space, and meaning. Why it doesn't hold up? In fairness, Rocky Horror Picture Show fans love this ending. It's a bit of a shocker for anyone who hasn't seen the film 200 times, though. The last 10 minutes are bleak and nihilist. They subsequently seem wildly out of place considering everything preceding the finale is fun and campy. Oh my god.
Do you hate musicals or not?
Oh my god. No, I'm sorry. Do you not listen to lyrics? Do you not? It's just, the whole movie is
Did they not
great.
watch the rest of the movie?
No, they didn't, clearly.
Because it's about homicidal cannibal aliens coming to Earth.
Yeah, it's not fun and camp. It's fun and camp because it's bad.
I get,
With
yeah.
all my question marks, because I don't think it's bad. I'm one of those cultists who loves it. Because it's not like, it wasn't meant to be a big blockbuster.
Yeah.
And so, like, it's got some quirks, and that's what makes it campy and fun.
Yeah.
Also, it's about fucking cannibalistic aliens. Of course, it's kind of campy and fun, but nothing about that is fun. It was like 30 seconds of being like a horror film.
Yeah.
It's only campy and fun because he
It's a
wants
musical.
to rape them the whole time. And
Great
somehow
time.
gets them to be consensual with him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't fucking care.
This is
Carry
rough.
on.
Number 10, The Graduate.
Oh, fuck.
They should have known running off together was a bad idea. That is literally the point of the end of the movie.
Holy shit. Did this person like watch, like they ran out of the church and then they hit stop on the old Netflix and they're like, well, movie's over.
Movie's over.
Nothing more to see at
like,
the end of this.
The ending of The Graduate played well in 1967. The idea of two young people making an impulsive decision without thinking through the consequences was powerful. In the modern age, where they've seen all kinds of unhealthy relationships play out, it's hard not to feel as though these two really should have seen this coming. Benjamin slept with Elaine's mom, for crying out loud. Of course their future together won't be bright. Also, this famous ending has been satirized so many times in everything from Valley Girl to Wayne's World 2 that anyone seeing The Graduate for the first time today probably won't fully experience the sting of the final scene.
Oh my fucking god. I
Excuse me?
cannot. I can fucking not. With this whole fucking... This person is making me so unreasonably angry right now.
It's really fun.
This
Holy shit.
I'm really glad you got that other beer for this.
Oh, so am I.
So this person's argument is that movie endings that are iconic are automatically bad.
Yeah,
Because they've been parodied.
Because they've been parodied at this point. So, like, why should I want to watch this? It doesn't hold up because it's constantly happened since then.
Jesus Christ. The Matrix is going to be on here, and I'm going to throw my microphone through a window because this movie's been satirized so many times, it's not good anymore.
Number 11.
Also, I dare this person to explain to me what happens during the credits of The Graduate. I fucking dare them to explain to me what's happening in that scene.
They don't.
They have no idea.
Number 11. Don't you forget about me.
Hey, there it is.
Breakfast Club. The kids remaining friends on Monday is unrealistic.
That's your takeaway?
Does that? I barely remember this. I've seen most of it on TNT, I want to say. So
Probably.
I'm not the...
Yeah, they're kind of become friends, but like in the like, hey, that was cool hanging out with you at summer camp kind of friend kind of way.
Yeah.
Anybody can be friends for one day.
Yeah.
That's not a thing. Like,
Also, I think if they don't bring up, I think it's Molly Ringwald and Judd Nelson deciding to date as the bad news bears of the end of this movie.
The athlete and the basket case are attracted to each other. The princess gives an earring to the bad boy as a sign of her affection, and the brain suggests they all continue to be friends come Monday morning. The last shot of Nelson fist pumping the air on the school football field. Why this doesn't hold up? The Breakfast Club is a fantasy, as writer and director John Hughes wanted to encourage teens to see past labels and get to know each other. Well, that's a wonderful message. There's no way these kids remain friends. Their bonds were formed when they were stuck in a particularly unpleasant situation together. Once back in their usual cliques, they'll likely face the same kind of pressures from their friends that were there from before detention.
Who says there's no like title card at the end says 20 years later they were still best friends and spend all their time together?
They literally just said, one person says,
Hey, maybe we should be friends on Monday.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, yeah, Molly Ringwald and Judd Nelson are going to go on like one date, and then she's going to be like, the fuck did I do this for?
yeah.
And also, Emilio Estevez is going to spend like one day with Ali Sheedy and be like, you know what? Actually, I'm good. Thanks. Okay, gotta go.
Oh, for Ali Sheedy, it's at least 3.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
For Emilio Estevez, it's at least
For Emilio Estevez, that's at least 3.
It's at least 3.
Today, I would definitely take Ali Sheedy, though, over Emilio Estevez, because he's aged like a fine milk.
Ooh. I haven't seen a recent photo of him.
He looks like Martin Sheen.
Oh, then he is gorgeous, and you get out my house because Martin Sheen.
Except he's dyeing his hair.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Still trying to keep the red going?
Yeah.
Rock him.
He's
man.
still trying to, like...
Just rock that silver. Your dad was a gorgeous man in his later years.
To be fair, Martin Sheen started aging very young.
He did, but he also aged like a fine-ass cheese.
I blame all of that on Apocalypse Now.
Oof, yeah.
Like, that movie aged him 20 years.
Movie broke him.
Yeah.
Literally.
Emilio Estevez has that Cuba Gooding Jr. movie where they're in an RV. I can't remember the name of it, but I saw it once.
12. Number 12.
Here we go.
Beauty and the Beast.
Oh, sweet baby Jesus.
Having a prince become human again undermines the story's message.
Fucking what?
Is the story's message bestiality is okay? Because then you're right. But other than that, no.
I mean,
Having him become like a super hot prince maybe undermines it, but not really.
but not. Jesus God.
Belle professes her love to the beast, at which time the curse is broken and he resumes his human form. Why it doesn't hold up? The Beauty and the Beast is ostentatiously a movie about falling in love with somebody else's true self, not their outer appearance. Belle is initially repulsed by the Beast because
Have they seen the Beast?
he's
a
a
giant
literal
fucking-
monster.
He's a big old bear man with ram horns, and she wasn't
and wolf feet.
and wolf feet. Of course, she wasn't just immediately like, "Ooh, take me, daddy."
Okay. But as she gets to know him, she falls in love despite his hairy animal-like appearance. Having him turn back into a handsome human prince at the end slightly undermines the entire message of the story. Belle not only gets the man she loves, but she also gets to have a hunky normal version of him.
Yes, it's almost
Because
like the point of the movie.
bestiality is not okay.
Bestiality, bad, equal bad. The point of the movie is he needs to earn back his humanity.
Also his handsomeness.
Also, I can't remember who it was, but it was pointed out to me, and it's every time I hear about this movie, I'm like, oh yeah, like he was like 12 years old when he was turned into the Beast.
That's a
the
whole
bad
thing.
guy is the witch.
Did the castle really get put in like a time frozen kind of spell?
Which is what the live action one does. It talks about how like the castle disappears from existence essentially and is frozen in time.
And then all the townspeople forget about it which is how come 21 years can go
10
by.
years. This has been 10 years.
10 years can go by and nobody is like, hey, remember that castle we used to have 10 years ago? What happened to that
Whatever
shit?
happened to that?
Yeah, they address it in the live action.
But the live action one is also trash.
I mean, I'm not gonna say it's not. I like Emma Watson.
She's okay.
I like
She's
Matthew. What's his face? It's not really his name.
Dan Stevens.
Dan Stevens.
Dan Stevens is fine. Didn't need to give him his own song. Emma Watson is fine. Not a singer.
She
She's a looker
has been.
and a smarty, and she is a singer. Okay,
On Broadway.
moving on. Number 13.
It's a good sign.
Oh, Lord.
Psycho.
Oh, sweet baby Jesus.
What?
The ending over-explains the villain. John, did you just spit beer back into that bottle?
Almost.
A psychiatrist explains Norman's mother issues, going into how he exhumed her, dressed in her clothes, and created an alternate personality of mother to eliminate any one woman finds attractive. Okay.
Okay.
Wyatt doesn't hold up.
Oh.
Psycho is a true horror masterpiece, one that keeps you on the edge of your seat. When it's revealed that Norman's mother and the remains of the real Mrs. Bates are stashed away in the cellar is genuinely shocking. The final scene goes on for several minutes and consists of a previously unseen character providing a lengthy psychological explanation of Norman's actions. In horror, there's nothing worse than explaining the villain. Knowing too much takes away from the scare factor. Psycho lets all the air out of the out of the tires by telling us too much about Norman's motives, when not knowing every last detail would have been much scarier.
But everything in the movie happened before that. So it still happened.
Yeah, but now I know why.
Also, it's not really it's not a horror movie.
It's not a horror movie.
Because there were horror
It's a
movies
thriller.
in the...
Yeah.
Which is a different thing.
It's a psychological thriller.
Yeah.
And the thing that makes psychological thrillers really cool and crazy and scary are that there are literal things that could happen, and explaining how he did it makes it scary.
Yeah. It's almost like it's meant to just make you look at yourself and the people around you and to be like, oh my God, what was their relationship with their mother like? Maybe, no, geez, I don't know.
And I know that's the point of the thing, but it was literally the 60s, and having a man dress up as a woman and kill people was out of the ordinary, more so back then than it is now. So, like...
Oh no. The next one is The Matrix, isn't it?
Could you tell by my kicking my feet and getting...
A little bit.
Just did a little happy dance in my chair.
Folks, I'm about to go dark on this podcast.
Oh, fuck.
Number 14.
Oh, Jesus.
The Matrix.
Oh, fuck me. Okay, let's try to guess. I'm gonna try to guess what their problem with it is. I can't put myself in a dumb enough headspace
I honestly can't. I don't
to know
even
what they're gonna say. Okay, so it ends with Neo realizing that
he's the one.
He's the one, and he can, which like it's kind of implied in the series that he's the one because people tell him he is. Like the Oracle kind of says that.
Yeah.
Nope.
And, like-
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm gonna stop you getting too smart.
Oh God.
Do they hate that it's an allegory for trans identity?
Nope, that's too smart. Neo's transformation is weirdly sudden.
Holy Holy shit. It only takes 2 hours and 5 minutes. Oh my god. Did they not? Did they like, we picked 15 classic movies, only watched the last 5 minutes, and we're here to make a list about why they're bad. That's literally the entire movie's about him becoming the one. Jesus Christ.
Oh my god. This episode might kill us, folks.
I don't even think I can do Kieran.
Yeah, just try to get through it. Just muscle through.
Okay.
This.
The ending. Neo perishes at the hands of Agent Smith. After receiving a kiss from Trinity, he revives, and it becomes clear that he is indeed the one.
Oh Lord, help me.
Why it doesn't hold up. The issues with the Matrix ending is its abruptness. The Oracle tells Trinity that she will fall in love with the One, and she's in love with Neo. That tidbit and the kiss suddenly make everything click for him. He's instantaneously seeing code, stopping projectiles, jumping into Agent Smith to eradicate him from within. Yes, there's the whole prophecy of someone being able to control the Matrix, but the way it happens is so quick that it feels like it was just a little too convenient.
I dare this person to tell me what they think the Matrix is about before the ending. What do they think all of the scenes leading up to that ending?
I have that. A computer programmer, Thomas Anderson, discovers that an artificial intelligence system is creating an illusionary world known as the Matrix, empowering it with unsuspecting human beings. Anderson might be Neo, a prophesied savior who can gain control over the Matrix.
Sweet fucking Jesus.
Every scene is leading up to the end of the movie. Like, you can get distracted because the middle 40 minutes is them going to see the Oracle and then Cypher turning on them, and there's like a bunch of action scenes and stuff. But like, that's all leading up to him becoming the one.
Yeah.
I don't understand how you not see that.
Doesn't he think he's the one from the get-go, pretty much?
No.
I mean, it's the hero's
It's been
journey.
a minute since I've watched this movie, but I'm pretty sure most people are like, hey, this guy might be the one. Like, let's get him going. Like, he might be the one.
Yeah.
This is the hero's journey. Like, they're like, it makes sense you make this a trilogy because this is the first act of the hero's journey, where him answering the call. They shouldn't have made 2 more movies. They should have been left alone at this.
Yeah.
But that's like, this is the first act of a normal hero's movie, is him realizing he's the hero of the movie.
And then the second one should have been him faltering after having become that hero.
Instead, it's him.
Yeah, I know.
Busting ass.
All right.
I don't even.
Are you guys ready to wrap this up? Are you ready to end? I'm sorry we're not ending on the Matrix, folks. I feel like I should have skipped it and gone back.
Jeez.
But number 15 brings it on home and stupidity for you.
Oh, God.
Jaws.
Number 15. Saving Private Ryan. An intense movie movie on a sappy note.
Oh,
Have they never watched a Steven Spielberg movie?
Have you
in their
never
life?
watched a war movie? That's what they all do. The ending. A now older Private Ryan visits Miller in the military cemetery. He remembers the captain's final order that Ryan should earn the rescue mission. He turns to his wife and says, "Tell me I've led a good life. Tell me I'm a good man." Why it doesn't hold up?
Here we go.
Saving Private Ryan is one of the most intense movies ever made. Watching it is like a harrowing experience that makes you realize just what our World War II veterans faced.
Okay.
God bless America.
Does it actually say that? Okay.
The final scene, however, feels out of place given the film's tone. It's not just sappy, it's also corny,
Have they never seen a Steven Spielberg movie
melodic,
before?
and manipulative. In other words, a complete betrayal of everything preceding it.
Holy shit! What? What? Why?
How do we? What do we do? Go, John. Go.
Did they want the credits to roll as they're not sure if they're getting him out? Did they want it to just like Tom Hanks just gets capped in the head, credits roll? Like, what did they want?
I would have preferred if Tom Hanks didn't take a bullet to the head. I mean, like, I would have preferred a happy ending. Like, they get him, and then they all get out, and then everybody's fine in the end.
But their lives are like forever just locked in a World War II-esque battle? Like, the war ended. Lives went on.
Yeah, well, I would have liked to not see that life go on.
I hate this person so fucking
I
much.
thought that was really sappy and manipulative. Like, I'm not going to tell you why I thought it was manipulative, but it was.
I don't know. Wow.
So one of my least favorite genres of movies,
Is war movies?
no,
Oh,
is
that's
a group of people go off to try to rescue one person, and like only 2 people come back at the end, and you're like, well, this wasn't really worth it, was it?
Vertical Limit.
Vertical Limit, Jurassic Park 3, like give me John Deal and Michael Jeter over that dumbass kid any day.
Yeah.
But like that was literally like the mission from the outset. Like they knew that going in, which is why I feel like it's different. It's not like, yep, we're gonna go in, we're gonna save the person, we're gonna all come back safe and sound. It's like there's probably a suicide mission, but like our lives are like we're literally all shitty people with shitty lives.
What are we, some kind of Suicide Squad?
But there's this one nice little old lady in Kansas that needs her one son back, and so we're gonna.
All of her other kids have died in this war.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can get her one back.
This person's.
My
brains have done leaked out of my ears.
Well, folks, that's going to be the end of this episode because the boys are broken. I broke them. I did it. I did it. I finally found a list that broke the boys.
Fucking hell.
If you are listening to us, you are listening to us on the Moist Boys podcast. Go check out our other podcast. We're over on His Dork Materials reviewing Star Trek.
Hell
as
yeah.
we're waiting for new shows to start up that we haven't really decided what they're going to be yet. So
Trying to
that's gonna be fun.
cleanse Picard from our brains.
Yep. We're also
Kind of doing the opposite.
Kind of doing the opposite, actually.
We also have returned to the Action Boys. We have a new Choose Your Own Adventure podcast up over there, doing something a little different since we're stuck in quarantine.
Yep.
We also have started 2 new podcasts. If you have yet to go check out 8 Days of Weeb, where we are watching.
Can I just real quick? Every time you say the name of this podcast, you keep saying 8 Days of.
8 Days of Weeb.
It's just 8 Days
A weeb.
A weeb.
A
8
weeb.
Days a weeb.
8 Days a Weeb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm so sorry, folks. I've been pronouncing my own podcast names incorrectly. To be fair, I just watched what they point me at the end. 8 Days a Weeb.
Yep. Like 8 days a week.
Yeah.
Okay. 8 Days a Weeb, where we are watching Retro Crush and checking out all that old anime that we can get our eyeballs on. And join us while we hang out with Zenigata, checking out on that old Lupin over on Zenigata's Casebook.
And folks, if you like obsolete things, we also have QuibbyCast.
And if you do like hearing us talk about listicles or want to hear us do quizzes, talk about monthly Miyazaki, check out our Patreon where you can get exclusive content.
Exclusive.
Exclusive
VIP. High end.
content over on our Patreon. go and check it out. If you're not yet following us, find us on Instagram at Moist Boys Podcast, where you can find a link tree linking you to all these things I just talked to you about.
Some of them.
We're going to stop talking to you about this lovely thing and tell you to have a wonderful rest of your day.